That's an appropriate way to welcome everyone back from break.
Put it in your books. Mountain West Conference Player of the Year.
Yep.
You know the whole call.
We are live in Studio B. This is your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play. I am Spencer Linton. He is Jerem Jordan. And the man who threw that iconic pass, John Beck, is joining us now.
The greatest Beck involved in this game.
Yeah,
okay?
Let's go ahead and put that out there.
We love Jason, but he's on the other side right now. Come on.
I know. Isn't that strange?
He's doing great, too. Of course he is. Come on. Come on, John Beck. What's up, John? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, fellas. How are you guys?
Hey, it's rivalry week. We're trying to temper our emotions appropriately, if that's even possible. But speaking of, John, what is this week like for you emotionally, now almost 20 years removed from that unforgettable play that you have with Johnny Harline?
You know, it's wild because I see that play every year this time of year or whenever the game is happening, because it gets replayed, right? And I'm a part of an interview. I'm a part of something revolving kind of around this game, this holy war. And so it's crazy that game and that play just keeps getting older. And, you know, my family keeps getting older and that play just keeps being brought up. But it's really cool. I think the holy war is a very special game to play in. I think that most of the country, as the years have gone on, has really started to realize just how big of a game this is, just how great of a game it is, and how many close and exciting games there's been in its history. And because of that, it remains a very exciting game, especially within the fan base of the BYU Utah fan base, inside and outside of the state. So it's just tons of excitement, a great game. It's going to be a special atmosphere to have it at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and it's going to be super exciting.
What's something about that play that maybe we don't know that you could share with us? Because Spencer and I are on the sideline. We're watching. We're in school at the same time you are. Like, we experienced that in person. It was amazing. But what's something about that play that maybe people don't know?
I mean, I feel like I've done so many interviews. How many years has it been since, how many years has it been since that play? Like 06, 19 right? years. So, like, this is like I've done 19 years worth of interviews. There's not much left I can There's not much left I can say about it.
You saved one detail for today.
But, you know, I think the thing that is funny about it is we broke the huddle on the sideline with a plan of, hey, if we get cover zero, here's what we're going to do to try to attack it. Here's what we're doing. And as we're walking out, and I don't know if the camera ever caught it, but we're walking out to the field for this play, and Johnny kind of walks up to me and says, hey, you know, if we don't get man pressure right here, you don't take me on the fade, what do you want me to do? And I was basically just like, I'm just going to buy time. Just do whatever you can to get open. And it's just funny because that's literally what that play turned into. It literally became that conversation. They didn't give us kind of what we anticipated. And I just bought time and played a backyard football game, and Johnny found a way to get open.
John Beck is on BYU Sports Nation, bringing the details 19 years later. Again, I'm not sure we knew that detail, Jerry.
I can't believe it's been 19 years. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Okay, as you push forward to 2025, and you have a unique perspective here because you have worked with Bear Bachmeier. And John, you and I were talking before the season about how to manage expectations for him if he is the guy as a true freshman. Well, now BYU's 6-0. Now he gets to play in this game at home with the chance to preserve BYU's perfect record. What's your advice to Bear Bachmeier this week to prepare appropriately for this game and not get too hyped up?
Well, I think outside of experience, you know, for Bear to be able to have played in every game this year as the starter is going to help him. To be a kid that's played in a lot of football games over the last 3.5 years, that's going to help him. But something else that might go overlooked is he did not grow up, I promise, with this rivalry. I think that can sometimes help guys when they play in the game. Sometimes you can sense within the state, especially the young men that are from the state, just how meaningful that game is to them. When you aren't from the state, when you didn't grow up with that rivalry, I think it can sometimes help protect you and kind of keep you distanced from some emotions that may not help with the game. Yes, he knows it's a rivalry game. He's going to feel it by the way the media communicates with him. He's going to feel it by the environment out on the practice field and kind of as you go around in public. You'll feel it, but it's not going to have a meaning to him yet because this is his first time playing in the game. It's brand new, and I think that can protect him. So, you know, if I were talking to Bear, it would just be like, just go out and do what you've done these last 6 games. use all the experience also that you've gained from these 6 games and just play football. Just be who you are. You don't have to be anything different. You have a great team around you. You have weapons on offense that can help alleviate from everything going on your shoulders. Trust your legs like you've done during the year. If it's not clean, go make a play. He's done a great job of making decisions because he has a lot of experience in quarterbacking, but he also knows I can use my legs. And that's been a huge help for BYU.
A guy that will use his legs in the game, or try to, is Devin Dampier of Utah. What have you noticed from his play as a quarterback that BYU will need to slow down? Because he's been pretty stinking good.
Yeah, I haven't caught every Utah game. I catch the ones that are kind of the late at night and, you're trying to watch a game. And, I do follow where Jason goes. I follow Jason Beck every single place he's coached at. And, I've rooted for him every single game. This will be the first time. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, bro. I hope all things go well for you in life, but I can't on this one. But you know what? Like, that guy, he is a very good athlete, and he's made some really good plays, extending plays and creating plays, and he's savvy. You see the game last week. He's got a little option play. He keeps it off the edge, and he options off the second-level player. I mean, that's a good football play. And when he was at New Mexico, I watched him play. So I know he's a talented guy. I think BYU just has to kind of try to manage those plays when he's trying to make something special happen outside of the structure of the play. That's when I've seen him become dangerous. I got to watch him in the UCLA game, and I felt like he did some things in that area where he extended plays and he became dangerous. Keep him confined to the space where he has to work solely within the offense. And they still may get some plays here or there. I know they have a couple really good offensive linemen, so it's probably going to be tough to get a lot of pressure on him. And at times when you sell out to get a lot of pressure, you can be vulnerable on the back end. But if it's at the right time and people can understand their assignments, you can still take some risks against him. But I think it's confine him to his offense, make him play in that, and don't allow him to extend things or be creative outside of it.
John, Utah is a 3.5-point favorite right now, and we're wondering, okay, it's in Provo, so if it's played on a neutral site, that's almost a 6.5, 7-point favorite for Utah. Why do you feel like that is the case this go around for the odds makers?
I'm sure there are people that look at, okay, freshman quarterback playing in a rivalry game. Somebody that may not have experienced that environment yet, somebody that, although he's played a lot of games this season, he's still a young player in the realm of college football. I'm sure that has a little bit to do with it. BYU is still, in the last 10 years, I think we've only won a couple of them, right? The last 2 years. So we have the last 2 years for us, but it's been still a tough go over the last 10 years. I don't understand the advantage where they're maybe looking at Lavelle Edwards Stadium as not a bigger sway in points. I view Lavelle Edwards Stadium as a very difficult place to play. You listen to every single interview that's done after the game of the opponents, especially their head coach. Every one of them has said, this is a very difficult place to play. That environment is special, the way the fans are in the stadium. And I have to believe that it's going to be the craziest place it's been so far this year. The Rock is going to be fired up. Fans are going to be fired up. It's going to be an awesome. I think there probably should have been a bigger sway in points being at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. But at the same time, look, if you're a player and you're doing an interview and somebody says, hey, did you know you guys are 3.5-point underdogs? I actually really like the feeling that brings to a team and a player, that little chip on the shoulder. I think it's more fun to play in games like that feeling like, okay, so you're doubting us? Watch.
BYU has won 17 of its last 19 games. Incredible. They're 6-0 this season. What do you make of where BYU's at, not only as a program, but what they've done this year, especially with the true freshman quarterback so far?
I mean, it's been fantastic. And kind of piggybacking on what you just said to answer my last question, I'm surprised also that 17 wins in the last 19 didn't play into the point spread a little bit more. But it doesn't really matter. I think BYU's just done a fantastic job of creating a belief, a culture. Like, no matter what the situation is a game. I saw this little clip of Kalani on Instagram where he was late in the game just being like, we want this, we like this, we can thrive in this. And I think that you see it by the way they've played the last 19 games. It's a team that has confidence in who they are. It has a team that has confidence despite the circumstance. We're going to find a way to make a play. And anytime you have a group of good players that are individually confident in themselves, and they can all bring that to the table when it's needed, that belief carries over to everybody else on the team. Young players, they can feel what veterans bring to the team. I've been in circumstances on teams where that is not the pulse that the veterans bring to the team. It's disbelief. It's a here we go again. It's a oh crap, oh no. When you have a collective group of guys that they have that confidence, everybody builds off of it and feeds off of it. And for a young player like Bear to step in an environment where that's the team he's playing for, a team that he stepped into that went 11-2 last season, that starts off the first 6 games winning, that helps a young player, and it's going to help in this game.
Former BYU and NFL quarterback John Beck is on BYU Sports Nation previewing Utah at BYU this Saturday night. Aside from home field advantage, John, for BYU, where do you feel like maybe schematically or in a specific position group matchup BYU does have an advantage going into this game?
Oh, man, it's tough. Are we getting our guys on defense back? I haven't read any reports. Like some of those guys that were not able to play last week, are we getting some of those defensive guys back? Because I do think we're going to need them if we want to put pressure on this quarterback. I've seen him be able to, extend plays, all of that. So we're going to need them. But where we have an advantage, I think that BYU offensively, system-wise, if you look at staffs, this BYU offensive staff has been here for a while. So these players, this is the only offense they've been in. This is where they've been trained their entire time. So when you're looking at senior players like Chase, when you're looking at juniors, guys that have been 3 to 5 years in this system, they understand it to its fullest. That also helps a young player, like a young quarterback, to have that type of veteran guys in the system around him. I think it also helps in big games. When you have to make plays in critical moments, you want to dial up some plays that your players have experience in, because it's in those moments that they can do the little things outside of how it's drawn up or the perfect scheme, and they can add to it a little bit. And I'm not knocking Utah, but it is still a new staff. It's a staff that has just come together this year. And you see it all the time in college football, pro football, at every level. A staff is trying to build experience when they're new. When they've been there a while, they have the advantage of their players having that experience.
Great stuff. And to answer your initial question back to us, John, we anticipate that Jack Kelly will play. No official confirmation there, but I'd be shocked if he is not back. Raider DeMooney remains questionable, but hopefully BYU's linebacking core with Isaiah Glasgow and Jack Kelly are certainly there to try and pressure Devin Dampier.
Yeah, but we have speed there. I love those guys because of the speed and aggressiveness that they bring to it. When you scheme blitzes, speed a lot of the time because of disguise, because of timing. When you have linebackers and guys that are very fast, that adds an element to the pressure. Guys that are a little bit slower, if they don't time it up perfectly and they come from depth, that's a disadvantage to the defense. It's an advantage to the offense. But speed at those backer positions, and Jay Hill, I love the creativity and the aggressiveness that he brings to some of his play calls, and I think that's going to help. Like in big games, this is the truth always. Who's willing to be the aggressor? Who is out there not afraid to go out and just play to win and to make those calls that, yeah, there's some risk involved, but I am going to trust that we are going to be assignment sound. You can have big plays when you have that willingness and that fearlessness to make some of those calls.
John, great stuff. We appreciate you hanging out with us during Rivalry Week. Always good to catch up, man. Be well. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, John.
Sounds great.